Hello aspirants, myself Kirtana Busa. I have appeared for interview in 2018. We at Narayana IAS Academy have come up with mains module to facilitate your answer writing. Important topics for the coming mains 2019 are picked, and all the important points required to cover the topic are provided in a simple and lucid manner. We are taking these points from multiple sources so that you will get sufficient points to use in the mains exam. We are also taking extreme care to provide good structure to the topic. Hope our efforts will benefit you. Having said this, let us move to an important topic today, that is non-banking financial companies crises. Barely 2 years ago, the sector was being feted for its ability to deliver high margins and higher growth rates by lending to lucrative segments neglected by banks. Today, the same players are being backlashed for taking undue risks in their pursuit of growth. Given that the NBFC sector plays a critical role in powering consumption and ensuring credit flow to unbanked segments, its troubles need objective assessment and quick resolution. So what is this crisis about and why the crisis has occurred now and what is the impact on economy? We look in this video. The NBFC sector is facing an imminent crisis. There is credit squeeze, over leveraging, excessive concentration, massive mismatch between assets and liabilities coupled with some misadventures by some very large entities. These are in the words of Injeti Srinivas, who is the Corporate Affairs Secretary. So now we look into what is the crisis about. NBFCs are facing liquidity crunch. In other words, they don't have money to lend, or they are facing enormous difficulties in raising the money. And these crises will decrease the credit flow to the economy. It will hit the economic growth and causes the borrowers to default on loans. Then we look into why the crisis now. The important reason is the flawed business model. The NBFCs have been raising the short-term funds and they are lending them as long-term loans. This has created asset liability mismatch. So raising them for suppose 6 months and lending the loans for 8 years. So this has created the asset liability mismatch and it is a cycle. And default by some firms such as IL and FS Group has broken this cycle. As a result, the banks, investors, mutual funds, they are now afraid and refuse to give money to the non-banking finance companies. As a result, the cost of funds have increased to 150 basis points. Last few years, especially after the demonetization, there was excess surplus of money in the system. And the investors, since the banking is not providing them the enough returns, they parked their money in the NBFCs. And these NBFCs, which are able to access cheap funds easily, had grown their loan portfolios at double the pace of banks. And the mutual funds, which want high returns for their investors, as well as NBFCs also want the high returns for their investments. This led them to take higher risk and put pressure on the quality of underwriting standards. So this has led to the present NBFC crisis. One reason is taking short-term loans and giving them as long-term funds, which has created asset liability mismatch, as well as when there is surplus of money in the economy, these NBFCs have taken the cheaper money and instead of going for proper underwritings, they have taken the risks and now they are facing the crisis. And we look into why is the crisis a big deal. NBFCs are playing an important role in the economy and these crises will choke the flow of credit to the economy. It will hit the MSME sector. which is already suffering from twin blows of demonetization and GST. And remember, MSME sector is the largest contributor to the employment as well as one of the largest contributor to the GDP, and it's very important in order to remove the problem of unemployment. The growth of this sector is very important for removing the problem of unemployment. It will hit consumption demand in the economy, and this will lead to another pile of NPA in sectors such as commercial, real estate sector and infrastructure. This will be the spillover effect because of this NBFC crisis. Since RBI is a custodian of financial stability of economy, it has to come out with specific measures relating to this crisis and not just stop at providing liquidity to the system. This is all about the NBFC crisis, why it has occurred and why is the crisis a big deal. Hope this video is helpful. Thank you and all the best.